You can afford to sell it for $35.
You look like an organiser to me. Go on then.
Yeah, a facilitator.
What are we up to so far then?
Oh dear, well Mark, where do you begin? You know, we started on Christmas Eve with just one couple pitching a tent who had issues with the council and the way they've been treated. That spread suddenly to 5 tents, all with 2 people in it by the end of Christmas Eve night. And on Christmas Day we was up to 7. But overnight we've doubled to 14 tents, all homeless, and some of them 2 in there, some of them 1 in there, and it's now become, you know, quite apparent to us that there are even more coming. So we've had to stock up on more tents. We're really desperately short of sleeping bags, and cardboard, funnily enough, is another great thing for the floor. But yeah, no, we've been not well received by the local police, but they seem to have been caught on the back foot with this, because it's not a protest. It is purely housing the homeless as an initiative right on the council's doorstep, simply because the council say these people don't exist.
So we're okay for tents so far. I mean, some Good F members supplied some money. I've brought a couple of sleeping bags down because I knew we wanted them, and we've got a few more to pick up tomorrow, which I'll be bringing down as well.
Smashing.
We want more sleeping bags?
Yeah, more. Well, the 2 you brought down, one's already gone to a tent. We've just pitched another tent for a homeless guy called Roman. You know, because the thing is, it's not just about British people; it's homeless people in general. Yeah. And there are so many different races of people out there, and they're all in the same boat. It was absolutely pouring last night, and people were coming to us at 4 in the morning soaked. So we felt obligated, even though we had no sleeping bags. We put them in tents, and we're giving them extra jumpers and gloves, you know, to try and counter the fact that they're in a cold tent with not really much to warm them up.
What's this behind us? What's going off here?
Right. Well, with regard to the
silver,
well, some of these tents are getting wet, mainly because they leave their doors open. We are in the process of doing a workshop on how to look after a tent.
Here we go. I've just interrupted because there's a moment. Some food's just been handed out.
Look, there you go.
See, so
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Right. So we were saying these. We're talking about this.
Yeah. Well, yesterday we were fine because it wasn't too bad on the rain front. However, some of these sleeping bags got wet. In an effort to put them out to dry, they've gone over the fence, which is standard procedure for anywhere that you've got wet stuff. But of course, British weather, a little bit more rain. Again, these guys are very grateful they've got tents now because it's raining. But we were going to put some tin foil over them to try and keep the rest of the rain off till we can get them somewhere to dry them off. So if anyone's got a tumble dryer, is willing to come and pick them up, throw them in their tumble dryer for us, bring them back down, that would be much appreciated. But as I say, it's been quite an experience. We've got to know these people really well now. You know, we've got them on first name terms. I think they've got and trust. They've put the trust into us, and so far, you know, we haven't let them down. Everything we said we would do, we have done. You know, we have liaised with the police coming in. We have told the police what's going to happen. We are dealing with the council for them until they get asked what their situations are. You know, and then they can say. But originally, it was ironic that even in the rain, these guys are so used to being out in the rain. We give them tents, and they still stood out in the rain until 6 o'clock in the morning. You know, but now they've feathered their nests, and you can see they're actually sitting in the tents undercover. You know, and they're getting into their tents because the weather's foul, but now they're thinking this is mine. Because the one thing we have said to them is, this is your tent. You own it now. You can do what you want with it. You can do what.
Do you anticipate any more coming?
Yes, you know, it's quite daunting now because what started out as just an initiative, this is turning into a full-scale operation now. I wasn't aware of the scale of homelessness that's not being addressed by the council. It's only when you sit here of a night time and people come to you and say, you know, we've got nowhere to go. That you realise that they're coming from all walks of life, and I don't know where they're hiding. Or where they find it. They might crawl around behind Safeways where it might be warm, but Now the word is spreading. They are coming here saying, we hear you've got tents, can I have one? You know.
The first night we had to turn several away. We didn't have tents, is that right?
Yeah, that is right.
We've
yeah.
now got enough tents
We have.
for what we've got to come so
Yeah,
far.
and the team are also trained to put them up within 2 minutes. So even if it's raining, they go up.
How are we going food-wise?
Now, well, food's a bit funny. We prefer to have hot food brought down because the problem we have with dry goods is it's all cakes, sweets, chocolates, biscuits. Not a staple diet for people that need good food, solid food. Sean Paul from Anonymous came down last night and he scratch cooked a spaghetti bolognese from start to finish, and each one of these had 2 portions at least through the night or when they were served, with garlic bread, hot homemade food, and within 2 hours they were all in their pits asleep. So the first couple of days, you notice they're up till 5 o'clock in the morning chattering and having great fun, but as soon as we put a good solid hot meal in them, they were all out for the count. It was like, what's your babies?
And that's probably the first decent night's sleep they've had in a long time.
And they were bouncing off the walls this morning about it. They were so, you could see the energy in them just by eating the right foods. They were up. They were happy. You know, they got a cup of coffee first thing in the morning. It's very rare that, you know, when you're in the homeless, you don't have a tent, so you're outside in the elements. But very rarely do you sort of like get out of a tent, nice and warm and happy, and someone hands you a morning cup of coffee. Good morning.
It's something we take for granted that live in houses and whatnot.
And it's such a luxury for these guys. You know, they don't get the opportunity to be waited on and catered to. And people forget that we as humans, like, it's nice if we feel we've been catered to or pandered in any way, because it's just a little bit of care in the community, isn't it? It's just, you know, it's not difficult to do, and we have made a remarkable difference to a lot of these people. You know, a lot of them their issues seem to be dying down. Their idiosyncrasies and their traits all seem to be dying down. They are becoming a community of their own.
From living in fear of people walking by abusing them to actually being comfortable.
Well, it gets, when you're homeless, you're frightened to go to sleep because while you're asleep, you're vulnerable. Some of these people have just sleeping bags and pillows, and I don't know anything more vulnerable than just having a sleeping bag and a pillow to hide you or to get into at night time. You know, and the moment you go to sleep, you end up with someone coming along, maybe in extreme circumstances, pouring petrol on them, you know, and setting lights on it. It has been known, and it's diabolical because that's not the British way. We never were bullies.
No.
You know, we never used to bully vulnerable people in this country when I was a child, and it's just not the British way, and it's got to stop.
There was one guy who was talking to us yesterday saying how they'd found somewhere down by the canal, out the way somewhere, and somebody actually set fire to the tent and all the belongings that were in it, everything.
In fact, they're here now. They've got a new tent and they've got
Dismantling the fencing. Dismantling the fencing to open this to let traffic through a pedestrian area.
Since when?
Now they're dismantling the fencing, tarmacking there.
Right, here we go. Here's an update for you. Then they're dismantling the fencing.
This is to get them moved. That's all that's about.
Yeah, but where do we stand? This is what we need to know. If this is a pedestrian, how can they bring vehicles down here? And if they bring them down, are they going to bring them down here?
Well, you can't get up that way anyway.
Yeah.
So this just seems like a tactic to upset
Should we go and try
everyone.
and interview them?
I think that we should. Yes.
Yeah.
please, yeah. So.
Debt Free TV, in association with GetOutOfDebtFree.org.